I wanted to play this video here from my friend from Pictures. So I say my friend, I don't know him, but let's play it. Let's have a look.
Has Eddie Howe been playing 8D chess this whole time? So first we make a move on Mbeumo, knowing that will force Man United to play their hand. Man United spend all their money on him. So we move on to Ekitike, driving up the price for little old Liverpool. Funnily enough, this means Liverpool can't afford Isak. He leaves Arsenal just to do an Arsenal, they'll fuck it up on their own. And suddenly no one has money and no one needs a striker. So what does Eddie Howe do? He moves in on his real prime subject. Man United can't afford to compete. Liverpool have Ekitike. Shit. And Newcastle have the best strike force in the Premier League. Oh, that's right, baby. I'm talking 4-4-2. What's stopping this Newcastle side from winning the league? Isak, Sesko, Gordon, Elanga. Woo!
I mean, that basically is just an example of how to make content that you don't believe in the hope that you're going to get views. I mean, he doesn't believe any of that. I mean, I've played the game. I've done acting. I've interviewed criminals, and he's just a bad actor. He don't believe any of that. He don't believe any of that. That fair play. It's probably had millions of views on TikTok, but he don't believe that. You can tell by his eyes. He just doesn't believe it. It's total bullshit. Like, I've seen some Geordie reactions. Some of them are brilliant. Like, and that is just Crimea River bitterness. And I understand that we've all been there, but he don't believe that. Talking out his bloody arse.
Yeah, the copium's crazy. I saw one of the guys from Towie, Scotty T, not Towie, Geordie Shore, Scotty T. I used to love watching a bit of Geordie Shore when I was younger. He put out a tweet. I can't even lie. It was the maddest tweet I've ever seen in my life. In amongst all of his crypto pushing, he literally said, "Where is it? Where is it now?" Where's it gone? Because his tweet, this is what he said. He went, "Check out this narrative." He said, "Newcastle had a poor transfer window. Everyone's rejecting them," in quotations. "We needed a goalkeeper, got one. We needed a centre-back, got one. We needed a right winger, got one. Striker and central mid still to go, and Isak is staying. Now Liverpool, who have spent hundreds of millions, have holes in their defence, and more holes in their defence than an effing sponge. And their captain is saying they need a striker weeks after they signed one for a huge fee. And we've had a stinker. They've got one striker. Let's get the other one they wanted so they have no depth. No wonder they have lost twice at Wembley in a row. Still looking for Mo Salah's penalty. And we've just taken their greatest youth product too. What a time to be alive." I just honestly read these things, and it's like they're having breakdowns. These Newcastle fans, they're having actual breakdowns.
You know what Newcastle are as an analogy? It's a bit like your mates with Liverpool, right? He lives next door. He's got a Ferrari, this, that, and the other. You get a bit of money, and you're speaking to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I might be married, but I'm off out. I'm off out on a Friday, always pulling women." So old Newcastle go leave the wife at home. They're off down the club. They're there having a bit of a dance, going up to loads of women. "Hey, do you fancy a dance?" "No." "All right, next one. Do you fancy a dance?" "No, no." "Do you fancy a dance?" "No, no, no." You go home, and then you can find Liverpool in bed with your missus.
No, mate.
And that's what's happened to Newcastle, rightly or wrongly. They've tried to go. Fair play. They've had a go, but whilst they've had a go, they're also going to lose Isak to Liverpool. So it's they've not master planned it at all.
No.
And they're going to have to probably. I like Newcastle. I've always liked Newcastle, even when we nearly lost the league to them. I liked Newcastle, but they've had a go at trying to be something. They're probably running before they can walk. Like, they probably should have gone for Wizza and Ollie Watkins, but they tried to go Ekitike, they tried to go Šeško, they tried to go Delap, they tried to go for players that were always probably going to choose Chelsea, Man United and Arsenal. So they just need to, they're in the Champions League. If they can get in the Champions League again, then one day they probably will be able to do that. But yeah,
but no, I totally agree. I mean, there was a big update this morning from Ben Jacobs, along with, of course, the Ornstein bomb about the player not wanting to integrate. Then Ben Jacobs has said that Isak is giving his full priority to Liverpool. as he waits for their second bid. Isak has made it clear he won't change his stance unless Liverpool inform him that a move is impossible. If Newcastle offer encouragement, they'll bid. We obviously have seen Ornstein's update today as well, that he actually informed Newcastle weeks before the season ended. In fact, there's a passage in his article that says that after they refused him a new deal last summer, he told them it would be his last campaign. It feels like a deal that's going to happen, but still there's a lot of Newcastle fans. We're very fortunate here on the Terrace. We have quite a few that call in that are very sensible, that feel like it will happen. But it's getting very toxic now, that deal, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of it's posturing. And I think like it's really understandable that Newcastle fans are going to get angry, because I would. But ultimately, I look at it as a business transaction. Newcastle have probably been understandably secretive with the reality that Isak told them a long time ago that he wanted to go. And where that's coming from, I don't doubt it. I understand why Newcastle kept it quiet, because it's in their interests that they retain the value of Isak until they've got the replacements in. But obviously, they've not been able to get the replacements in. So Isak is posturing, saying, look, I'm missing out on the start of the season now. I told you I want to go. I'm not staying quiet anymore. Liverpool are sat there with the money going, look, we'll do the deal. And Newcastle are now looking a bit like, well, what are we going to do? They can't get the strikers in. If Newcastle had two strikers, look, if Newcastle had got Sesko instead of Man United, Isak could be gone. So Newcastle fans getting frustrated. It's frustrated at the inability to do those deals, because if you got Sesko, you would have Isak going to Liverpool. And that's the thing. So Isak's just basically saying, I want Liverpool. Liverpool are waiting. And then you've got Newcastle, who are, obviously unable to get strikers in. So I understand the frustration, but I think it will resolve itself. I don't think it needs to get to the point of strikes and I'll never play for Newcastle again. Because I don't know about you, Terry, I'm always uncomfortable with that. The last thing I want in the world is Belaber to go on strike at Brighton, because Anthony went on strike at Ajax and here he is at United on strike at United. I think once a striker, always a striker. And I don't mean someone who puts the ball in the back of the net. Gyökeres did it at Sporting, and I thought that's such a shame, because Sporting was the thing that made you, and those fans don't deserve for you to be on strike. And Newcastle as well, they made Isak from a prospect into one of the world's best strikers, and the Newcastle fans will be left with very little warm feeling to Isak next season, when actually, if they've got the British transfer record and it had been handled properly, I think it would have. It's just a shame it has to end badly, but I understand why it's ending badly, because there's three different needs pulling in different directions.
No, I agree. I don't like it to go that way. I've just got to a point where I don't really call it out anymore. Like a lot of people have been coming to, and we're going to get onto Garnacho later in the show, but you haven't really called Garnacho out. Yeah, I didn't call Trent out. I'm not calling Isak out. It's that because if Belaber does force a move, as much as I don't want that to happen, the reason I don't call it out so much is in the player's a bad guy, it's wrong. It's because the second he walks out onto Old Trafford, it'd be lovely if it was this Sunday. It won't be, but just hypothetically, I'm going to be sitting there cheering, happy that he's here. And I do find it, I've seen all these like Newcastle accounts calling Isak all these names. But then when it was reported by Craig Hope a few weeks ago that Wissa has told Brentford he won't play for them again, the same accounts are responding and what a lad, love it. And that's my issue with it. I'll try my best not to. I can't say I won't, because I'm a human being. I don't want to get dragged into any of that nonsense again. Personally, we have another clip here, though, on this situation. Let's take a listen to this, people. I have seen this clip already. It's brutal.
Really disappointed in the fact that you are making a club who made you, and that's not up for debate, look like shit. And for me, it's unforgivable, and I wish him nothing but the worst for every single day of his fucking career. And if he gets a career-ending injury, I won't have any sympathy. Fuck Alexander Isak.
This is him. I can't believe you're saying.
Wishes him no
It's
luck.
a shame what's happened to Brian. He was a lot better with Loz. He's gone. He likes American things now, doesn't it? It's all like anti-Trump stuff and Andy Tate and political bullshit, and that's just he used to be a really good football pundit. I mean, I've not spoken to Brian for a long time since I did the video with Loz, but I did offer him his side of the story, which he would never do. But I like Brian, but I think that's just incredibly crass and naive. I mean, wishing injury on somebody, and also Newcastle made Isak. I mean, forget me if I'm wrong, but I think I knew who Alexander Isak was before he signed for Newcastle. I think Newcastle gave him the platform, but yeah, I don't think they've made him. And I don't think Isak's the villain for the reason you just said there, Terry. You know, Wizza is doing exactly the same thing, but because it's going to benefit Newcastle, it's okay. I generally just do not like players that go on strike. I don't like it. United fans will love it if Donnarumma goes on strike or Baliba goes on strike. But I just think in 3 years' time, I want players that are going to have a good relationship, that when they retire, I can look back at Paul Scholes and you know, Ronaldo and other people. Even though Ronaldo walked down the tunnel and everything like that, he's always retained a respect in this United fan base. And I think it's sad, the short-termism of football, because it leads to comments like Brian's there. Newcastle have mishandled this situation, and maybe so has Isak, but they're both parties in this. And I don't think there is a villain in it. Like, if he's told them, I'm not signing a new contract, and let's not forget, Newcastle do not want to keep him if he doesn't sign a new contract. So it's not like Newcastle are saying, we're going to make you run your contract down. They want him to sign a new contract or they will sell him. And there's this misinformation that annoys the shit out of me, because it's not like, you know, I know you said you didn't have a problem with Trent. I've got a problem with Trent because he made out that he didn't run his contract down and then turns up speaking better Spanish than Florentino Perez. I know how hard it is to learn a bloody language, and you don't do it in 2 weeks. So I think that, you know, there's a lot of the misinformation. And ultimately, it comes down to the fact that Newcastle haven't been able to do their deals. If they got Ekatike a month ago, Isak would be a Liverpool player. It's all just coming to a head because people are getting frustrated. Deal with it.
Yeah. Look, I don't know Brian or True Geordie at all. Never even had one interaction with him, I don't think, but maybe back in the day, I'm not too sure. But like, yeah, like I said earlier, Newcastle fans are losing their heads over this. And all I really want to say to them, genuinely Newcastle fans, is strap yourself in, because if your owners are as serious as we all believe they are, as your revenues grow and you become an even better team and a more consistent team, you're going to consistently have your players linked to other clubs. Real Madrid are the biggest and most successful team in the world. Every year, their players are linked to other clubs. It's the nature of the beast. And there is always an element of truth to it, because when you have the best players, everybody wants them. When there is a sniff that there's an opportunity to get a Tchouameni or a Vinicius or a Rodrigo, as we're seeing, they're linked. Man United, all of our best players, all of our lives. Scholes, people don't forget this because the kids weren't even alive, and the people forget this. Scholes was wanted and chased by the top Italian clubs every summer in the 90s. The only difference there being he literally just said, you have to buy Man United. I'm not leaving unless they sell me. Giggs was always, people took the disrespect Giggs gets as a footballer. Again, all the top clubs in the world wanted to sign him. Beckham, from when he left in 2003, maybe 2004, 2003, I think it was. You go back maybe 4 or 5 years, every summer, massive talk of him leaving, with Real Madrid's and Barcelona's wanting to sign him. This is just the way it is when you're near the top. Your players, your manager get linked to other clubs, and people are prepared to pay big money, big salaries to turn their heads. They've got to get with the program. You've got to, because one thing I've noticed in Newcastle fans online, and this is what I find really weird, you're online giving opinions on public platforms, you know, X, Instagram, YouTube. The amount of Newcastle fans I would say I've had in my replies in the last 18 months, whenever it's commenting on a game or a player, why talk about my club for? Why talk about my club? Why talk about my club? Focus on your own. That for me is just, it shows the mentality of a percentage of that fan base and a percentage of that club. You're not ready yet to be a big team. Wait until you've been good for a number of years and you have a little fall off. Wait till you see what the media says about you. You're going to lose your minds, guys. You've got to step up. That's my hot take on that. You've got to stay more relaxed on that one, in my personal opinion. Viewers, make sure like buttons have been hit.